Hey there, it's Sarah, and before we dive into the episode, I wanted to give you a quick heads up that enrollment for the Push to 100 closes this Thursday, September 11th at midnight. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. We start Friday, September 12th, 100 days alcohol-free with coaching, community, and a clear plan so you can roll into the holidays feeling strong, steady, and proud of yourself. Spots are limited and the doors shut at midnight, so pause this for 30 seconds and tap the link in the show notes to join the Push to 100 now. All right, let's get into the episode. Welcome to another episode of the No More Wasted Days podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sarah.
I'm Heather.
And today, Heather is going to be talking all about pet loss, sobriety, and new beginnings. And this is something we have both experienced. But Heather's done a really cool outline on this, so I'm going to let her take it away.
Right. So if this just does not feel immediately applicable to you, hang with us. This episode is a soft place to land for anyone who's ever lost a pet and felt the ground shift beneath them, especially if you're walking through that grief without alcohol and or you're exploring your relationship with alcohol. Or you were alcohol-free, and then your pet passed away, and then you drank. Or your pet passed away 10 years ago, and you're alcohol-free, and you're grieving this pet loss that what will feel out of nowhere. So we know our little fur babies, they greet us at our worst, and they stay through the recovery, the good, the bad, indifferent, right? And we just have such a deep bond with our pet.
Yeah.
And you know how empty the house can feel. And you know how much it hurts when, like, the leash goes still. As dramatic as that may sound, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about what it looked like for us to lose a pet during our alcohol-free journey, how that grief tested our tools, why, and when the time was right, welcoming a new puppy, which is me. And I just want to be clear. My new puppy did not replace the loss of my dog last July. She is helping me heal a lot of parts that I didn't really know needed the healing. So let's talk about it. When I lost Grace, it wasn't like just the loss of a companion. It was a routine, emotional safety. It's something that had helped anchor me in life for 14 years. She was my roll dog, and I often said, like, girl, I'm so glad you can't talk. So they hold space for us. Animals hold space for us, and they're with us in the quiet, the messy, and the moments we don't post online, right? Mm-hmm. I talked to every dog I've ever had like they were a person. They are a person to me. If you think I'm weird, I am. That's fine. And they're like a family member. And losing them, especially while on a sober path, can feel like the rug has been pulled out from under you. You're already holding so much emotionally, and that quiet grief, or not so quiet grief, comes in, and it can feel like too much.
Yeah. And even when your pets are very old, like both of our dogs were elderly dogs, it still feels like a surprise when they pass away. I feel like a month before Marley passed away, I was telling my sister and my best friend, how's Marley doing? She's doing great. I think she's going to live forever, you guys. Like, that was literally what I was saying. And now when I see pictures of her, I'm kind of like, oh, I was a little delusional. Like, she couldn't see very well anymore. She couldn't hear. She didn't like to hop up on furniture anymore. And I'm going, I think she's going to live forever. And I just didn't want to face it, even though every night I was sure to say goodnight to her. And yeah, it was still just a shock. Like, I was still like, really? I wasn't expecting that. And that's one thing I want people like. And I feel like even if it's, somebody's very sick or your pet's very sick, it's the same thing. It always feels like a shock to us. And I think it is because they are so much of our routine. Mm-hmm. And it's funny when you said when you said that the leash stops moving. We found while we were going through our backpacking stuff, Marley's backpacking dog dish. And I was, oh, what's this? And I unzipped it and flipped it. And I was just kind of like, oh. And Ryan kind of went, yeah. And I just like zipped it up and tossed it. Like, oh, we're not going to because it's going to be like our first season backpacking without her. And I'm like, man. And you just don't expect those things either. So that's what's really hard. And we have another dog right now. We just recorded an episode right before this, and she was driving me a little bit bonkers in her very cute way. So it is just like you can have that other pet in your life and still feel grief for your other animal.
Absolutely. And I don't think people always understand how deep it runs.
Mm-hmm.
Pet grief is often treated like it's not a real loss,
Yeah.
and it is.
Yep.
And for those of us in recovery, it can hit even harder because we're not numbing that out.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of us, it is our first, well, not for a lot of us, it could be your first grief you experience when you quit drinking. And I did have my grandma pass away really early on my alcohol free journey. I think I was so early on my alcohol free journey that I was still in that really excited phase of not drinking that it felt okay. Like I was like, oh, look at me, I'm handling this and managing it. And when Marley passed away, it was different because I was
Yeah.
probably 5 years into my alcohol free journey, right around there. And I was kind of like, and I learned, which has been easier now with Ryan's father passing away, that I push off grief. I push off grieving. And now I've been like, don't just experience as it comes, experience it. Because I feel like with Marley, I was like, just keep moving on, just keep going. And I think I did it because, too, I was like, it's a dog. Like, no, it's a dog. Don't be so. And I'm just like, that's so silly. But part of our family for 14 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And when Gracie passed away, grief tested every tool I had. I felt like a glorified country song. Truly. I posted
Yeah.
that in the Daymakers thread. I just did. It was like, nothing worked. Journaling, meditation, of course, that did not work for me. Resting. It felt pointless,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Yeah.
And like I wanted to reach for anything that would make it stop. Just an old itch to numb, not necessarily to drink. And I can totally see why folks drink after their pet passes away.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very, very hard. It's kind of unexplainable. I do think a lot of it, when you said it's a huge part of your routine. And I do know that having our other dog actually made that easier because it was still like, let's go to the park. And we had a dog still to jump in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And because I told Ryan, I was like, it's going to be really hard when we just don't have a dog. And then that's why I told him to. And that's why we'll always have one.
Yeah.
After I had just said, I think after Lily passes away, we won't have a dog for a while. And he goes, you were just saying how you want to do all the national parks and you can't bring dogs to those. And I was like, I know, I was totally wrong.
I did not realize you couldn't bring dogs to the national park. That's good to know.
Yeah, you can't bring them on the trails. You can bring them in. They can be in your car and they can be at the campsites. But if you're going to go hiking, they can't come on the trails.
Interesting.
I know.
So something I was thinking about last year and really since then was like somatic grief. And what that really is grief that lives in your body physically. Your body holds the pain. And, like when Gracie passed away, I found myself holding my breath or my jaw stayed clenched and I wasn't sleeping well. And no matter like how much I tried to think through, it was like the grief was lodged in my rib cage. That may sound theatrical, but I'm here to tell y'all I do not handle pet loss well at all. At all. I never have. It is probably like since I've quit drinking, other than breast cancer, was the hardest thing. Like it was awful. So I think this is especially real for us in recovery. And without booze, we have to feel it fully. It's not a weakness. Your body's actually doing its job of processing.
And is that part of the somatic grief?
Yes.
Is the processing?
Yes.
That's so interesting. I had never heard that. So that's a new thing for me. And I'm like, oh, that's
It's you process it through your body. Like, would you feel, so much, and people say, where do you feel that in your body? And at first, when I first started getting real curious about my healing journey, I would be like, I have no idea. Pain? I don't know. But once you start really getting curious about it, you'll notice it more. And I think grief, like you'll notice like the tightness in your chest, or oftentimes you'll like start coughing. I know that sounds strange, but that's your body's way of processing the grief. And so your body's doing its job, and grief will feel like fatigue. Your tummy might hurt, you might be restless, or walking through emotional concrete.
Yeah.
And you're not broken. You're just body, your mind, your spirit is asking to be cared for gently.
I think that is that's so interesting, and I love hearing that. One thing that happened during my grieving process with Marley is I did a sound bath,
Mm-hmm.
and I cried the whole way through the sound bath, and I was expecting the world's most pleasant experience. I was like, this is going to be amazing. I'm so excited for this sound bath. And then it started, and it was like all of the grief came out during that sound bath, and I felt so ridiculous. We got done, and it was on my sober retreat that I went on. So we get done and everybody's taking off their blindfolds, and everybody's looking at each other smiling, and they all look at me. My hair is a mess. My face is red. I have mascara running down my face, and I go, I was expecting at least one other person in the room had it happen to them. And I look at all of them and I'm like, oh no. And they're kind of like, oh no. And I was like, I just processed a lot of shit. And then
Yeah.
and then they kept like, finally they were kind of like, oh, what, tell us about it. Everybody's curious. And I finally said, like, I just kept seeing my dog. And they were, and all of them are dog people too. And it was just like, they were like, oh my gosh. I was like, I think I hadn't, and she had passed away in February, and that was October, September. So it had been a while of me just holding it in my body. So I do have to say, if you do feel like you're holding it in some way and you can't figure out how to get it out, the sound bath was magical. It was hard. It was not comfortable. But I really do feel like I released something there. The floating can be another one. The float too. Have you tried that yet?
Oh, yeah.
Do you like it? I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay. Because you can do the floating, you can dance. Like somebody in our group talked about that they went on a spiritual retreat, and they did, I think it was somatic dancing, where they
Mm-hmm.
were just like letting emotions out through dance. And she's like, it sounds crazy. And I didn't want to do it. And she goes, I processed so much.
Yeah.
So definitely do a little research. So maybe it's not the first time I've heard about the somatic thing, but find those like creative, think outside the box things.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't tie somatic pain to grief specifically. So, yeah, definitely check it out if you're going through something similar. Or, yeah, definitely check it out.
Let's take a quick pause here. I don't want you to forget that enrollment to the Push to 100 closes at midnight on September 11th. We kick off Friday, September 12th, and this is your chance to finish the year alcohol-free with daily support, live coaching, and a community that actually gets what you're going through. Imagine walking into the holidays with 100 days of confidence and momentum behind you. That starts right here, but only if you grab your spot before the doors close. Tap the link in the show notes and join us for the Push to 100.
So, I will say what worked for me was writing songs. What did not work for me was listening to Zach Bryan, I think might be his name.
Okay.
He's like a country singer. He sang that song, Bass Boat. Don't listen to that on repeat. Do not listen to sad music on repeat. Don't do it. I did it. So I was like, I got to stop. This is ridiculous. So I moved the muscle and I sat down at my laptop and I wrote songs. It was very, very helpful and cathartic. And I stopped emotionally torturing myself with, like, Gracie had a song that I sang to her. Like, I stopped listening to the song. I stopped listening to Bass Boat. I went and I created. That was helpful. And I also think, too, like, you need to name it. And, I mean, there's a reason that people say you look like your dog died. You know what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
reason. So, however that may land for you, like, I feel grief in my chest today. I don't have to solve it. I just have to stay with it. That's not what I said. I just said, your raw dog of 14 years you're allowed to feel this way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't gaslight yourself. Don't let people minimize. You are the expert of this experience. And that was helpful to me. And luckily, I don't carry people in my life that are like, it's just a dog. Because I would have been like, when you were just a friend. Bye. Because me and you ain't the same. And thanks for telling me now, you know? So, and like, I had to lean on my friends. My best friend's wife had to bury Gracie. I could
Mm.
not do it. I couldn't cremate her. I, I, I'm not usually that type of person, but I was that day. And I got
Yeah.
to ask for help. And people want to help. Now, that's a good friend right there. I'm going to say that. But you ask for help. If you can't, don't. Like, I was too far in my journey to know, to let what I know could very, very, very well lead me down a bad path to ask for help.
Yeah. And you probably were better at that asking for help because of all the work you've done on your alcohol free journey
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
understanding that community is key. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, what do they say? Community is the opposite of addiction.
Yes.
That's an AA phrase, but it's a good one.
It is. And I took
Yeah.
the data from when my dog Maggie passed away in 2009. My sweet daddy was alive and drove 8 hours to come comfort me and help me with Maggie.
Yeah.
Well, my daddy's gone. So I was like, well, what do I do? Just all to hell.
Yeah.
All to hell. So, yeah, just try to ask for help if you can. They have like pet loss support groups in but larger areas. I'm sure they have some online. I didn't do that, but boy, did I talk about it a lot in multiple therapy sessions.
Yeah. I think that's so helpful.
So, on to welcoming a new fur baby when it feels right. Now, listeners, y'all know I have a cat named Kitten Houston. I have a hamster named Alice Pookie Goggles, and I have a fish named Seela Cole. The new addition is a puppy, and to me, a puppy is different than a cat, a rat, and a fish. They're
Yep.
all different loves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say this clearly. A new pet does not replace the one you lost. And the timing needs to be right. It really does.
Yeah.
If it feels too much or too soon, that's okay. There's really no right timeline for that decision. It just needs to be given a lot of thought and consideration. I was a hospice social worker for a very long time, and the rule of thumb is no big decisions 6 months after someone passes away. There's also a rule of thumb when you're alcohol free for 6 months to try to avoid making a lot of emotional decisions. Same with
Yeah.
divorce, so on and so forth. So for me, when the time came, Spencer Rainbow Sparkle Pennell is my new puppy.
Andy's
And
adorable.
yes, a little golden retriever puppy. And I have been thinking about this for a very, very, very long time. And, I have a young kid. They are very smart, usually. I've never met with not. They produce more oxytocin than any other breed of animal. They just happy,
Yes.
fluffy, fluffy, furry, glittery beings. And Spencer Rainbow Sparkle did not take away the grief for all of her fallen sisters and brothers, right? It just like healed just a little bit of where some of the grief needed to go. A lot of the grief actually, for a lot of
Yeah.
different things. And it's just like little moments of laughter, a different kind of laughter. You know how puppies are just goofy.
Yeah.
Lord, she's a goofball. She wouldn't be my puppy if she was not a goof. So it gives you a little bit of laughter and, like not a reason to get up because I have plenty of reasons to get up. And when you have a puppy, you get up a lot, right? It's a time to like look at your new routine.
Yeah.
And it's just a new structure to my day and to my daughter's day and a little heartbeat next to mine and a quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a really good addition to our little family. And really like when you think about animals and sobriety, pets ask us to be present. They need our routines, our patient, and our clean energy. And that's really grounding when you're alcohol free. And I think thus far, and Spencer Rainbow Sparkle hasn't been with us that long. And I think it's going to be like an unexpected tool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because she goes, now my new routine is she rides in the car every day. We're going to take her to learn to the lake beach for the first time. She's going to learn to swim today. So, it's just part of that, like building that reliable, nurturing, intuitive love for myself that I can extend to another being.
Yeah.
And last night I had a shitty night. I talked to her because I'm one of those people. People are going to be like, this woman is nuts. That's fine too. But I talked to her. I had a
No.
shitty day. And I was just like, Spencer, blah, 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 blah. And it helps so many things. I got to give air to it. She gets used to my voice. And she's the best listener ever. All right.
Right?
She can't talk. She can't judge me. She can't be like, lady, you need to go to the, inpatient. So there's just like a lot to say for the little furry people or furry beings in our life.
Yeah. I love that. And it is like I always tell people in the day makers when we're working on setting up routines, I say watch your pets. They are the
Mm-hmm.
most routine driven creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Like my duck, our chickens, and I mean my dog. My dog is like on such a routine
Mm-hmm.
where it was so funny. Last night my parents were over, so her routine was off and she was getting really antsy, and I knew what she wanted because I was like, well, we haven't done your WALK yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I know, I'm trying to push it off so you get a quality one. And finally you could tell she was like, we've got to go right now. This is ridiculous. Like she came over to me and gave a quick little bark, and I just, okay, leash is going on. Yeah, guys got to give me a moment. And they were laughing so hard. I was like, I mean, she's got a routine and she
Yeah.
should have done this at 6 p.m. and it's already 8 p.m. So she's trying to
Right.
tell me, and she was also trying to be like, it's time to watch TV now. This is the time where we lay down and we relax and we watch TV. And my other dog was the same. She'd go stand at the bottom of our stairs if we were up too late, because at the time our bedroom was upstairs. And she'd just look at us, look at the stairs, and kind of be like, it's time for bed.
Yeah.
You all need to go to bed. So it is, I always kind of say, if you need help with your routine, watch your pets. And if you don't have pets, then watch the animals in nature. Like that's why birds are up chirping. They've got a routine. And they
Yeah.
like we have a bird right now that sings every morning at 4:30 a.m. Same
Oh,
guy.
wow.
I know. I'm like, here he is singing his little song. Time for me to get out of bed.
Oh, happy ass bird.
I know. I'm like, you're so happy and it's so early. And he really is like the only one. And I'm like, dude, okay. But watch the animals. They're there
Mm-hmm.
having their routine, living in the
Yeah.
present moment, not thinking about what's coming next. They know what they need right now. And it's a
Yeah.
really important skill that all of us can learn.
Absolutely. So I want to say if you've lost a pet and you're carrying that ache, I see you. If you're wondering if you'll ever be ready for another one, you're not alone. I believe, and I quote, I ain't never doing this again, is what I said.
You
And
and me both.
yep, if you've just welcomed a new little life, remember that healing isn't forgetting. It's remembering how to love again, even through the grief. And when we're ready, we walk again, right?
Hmm.
Maybe slower, maybe softer, but still full.
Yes. I loved this. Thank you so much for this one.
I am so amazed that I did not cry. And it's okay if I did. Let us know what you think about this episode and if you would like more content like this.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for this one, Heather.
You're welcome. Bye, y'all.
Quick before you go, remember that enrollment for the Push to 100 closes Thursday, September 11th at midnight, and we kick off on Friday, September 12th. Don't wait on this. Come with me and see what 100 alcohol-free days can do for you. The link is in the show notes, and I'll see you on the inside.